A life-changing moment. I want to tell you about a moment that changed 2 lives forever. This is a story about Sam, a boy who had nothing but hope, and a woman who had everything that mattered, a kind heart. Sometimes the smallest gesture becomes the foundation of something extraordinary. What you're about to see proves that kindness is never wasted, never forgotten. Watch closely, because what starts with hunger ends with healing, and the journey between them will remind you why compassion matters. Sam walked through streets that seemed endless, each step heavier than the last. His stomach ached with a hunger that went beyond physical pain. It was the hunger of isolation, of being invisible to the world around him. Every door he approached felt like a mountain to climb. He wasn't asking for much, just something to eat, just a moment of compassion from another human being. But door after door closed before he could finish his sentence. Some people looked away before making eye contact. Others shook their heads before he even spoke. Sam's hope flickered like a candle in the wind, threatening to go out completely, but something inside him refused to surrender. He knocked softly on another door, his hand trembling as it made contact with the wood. He expected the same response he'd received all day. Rejection, dismissal, maybe even anger. His hands shook not just from hunger, but from the accumulated weight of being turned away, of being treated as less than human. He had learned to expect nothing, to protect his heart from disappointment. Yet something inside him, some tiny spark of resilience that refused to die, kept him moving forward. That quiet determination, that refusal to give up even when giving up seemed like the only reasonable option. That was all he had left. And sometimes, that's all you need to find the one door that will open. Then she appeared, and everything changed. A woman with gentle eyes and a warm smile opened her door and saw him, really saw him, not as a problem to be dismissed or a burden to be avoided, but as a child who desperately needed help. She didn't ask probing questions about where he came from or why he was alone. She didn't hesitate or calculate whether helping him was convenient. She simply invited him in with a gesture that said, "You matter." She returned moments later with a glass of milk, fresh and cool. To her, it was a small gesture, something anyone might do. To Sam, it was everything. Proof that kindness still existed, that he still mattered to someone in this world. Sam held that glass like it contained liquid gold, like it was the most precious thing he'd ever been given. Because it was. He drank slowly, savoring not just the milk, but the kindness behind it, the warmth of being seen and valued. When he finished, he looked up at her with tears streaming down his face and whispered his thanks, his voice breaking with emotion. She smiled that same gentle smile and told him to take care of himself, to stay strong. As Sam walked away from her door, something fundamental shifted inside him. That glass of milk became more than sustenance. It became a promise, a vow that one day, When he had the means, he would pass this kindness forward. Years passed like pages turning in a book, but Sam never forgot that day or that woman who showed him compassion when the world had turned its back. He studied harder than anyone around him, driven by a powerful combination of gratitude and purpose that burned inside him like an eternal flame. Every late night spent studying by dim candlelight, every difficult exam that tested his limits, every moment of doubt when he wondered if he could really make it. He remembered her kindness and pushed forward. Her simple act had given him something more valuable than milk. It had given him hope, and hope is the fuel that powers dreams. Eventually, through sheer determination and unwavering focus, Sam became Dr. Sam, a skilled and compassionate physician known throughout the region for treating every patient with dignity and care, regardless of their ability to pay. One ordinary day that would become extraordinary, a patient arrived at his hospital in critical condition. Her family was distraught, their faces etched with worry and fear. The treatment she needed was expensive, far beyond what her small town could afford, and they knew it. Dr. Sam reviewed her file with professional detachment, then looked up at her face, and his heart stopped. Time seemed to freeze. It was her, the woman who had given him milk when he had nothing, when he was just a hungry boy that the world had forgotten. Time had aged her, added lines to her face and gray to her hair, but those kind eyes remained unchanged, still radiating the same gentle compassion he remembered from that life-changing day. He knew exactly what he had to do. This was his moment to complete the circle. Dr. Sam treated her with every skill he possessed and every ounce of care he had learned over the years. He worked tirelessly, refusing to let her condition worsen, consulting with specialists, trying every possible treatment option. Days passed with him checking on her multiple times daily, adjusting treatments, and monitoring her progress with intense focus. Slowly, miraculously, she recovered, her strength returning day by day. Her family asked repeatedly about the bill, their voices filled with anxiety about costs they knew they couldn't cover. Each time, Dr. Sam simply smiled mysteriously and told them not to worry, that everything would be taken care of. When she was finally well enough to leave the hospital, walking on her own 2 feet again, the nurses handed her the final bill as was customary. She opened it with trembling hands, expecting to see an impossible number. Instead, it read, "Paid in full with a glass of milk." She stared at those words, reading them again and again as tears streamed down her face and the memory flooded back with overwhelming force. The little boy at her door all those years ago, hungry and alone. The simple act of kindness she had offered without thinking, something she had almost forgotten in the busy years that followed. Now that boy had become the man, the doctor, who saved her life when no one else could. She understood then, with perfect clarity, what she had always known in her heart, but never fully grasped. Kindness never disappears into the void. It doesn't evaporate or fade away. Instead, it transforms, it grows, it multiplies in ways we cannot predict. And when the time is right, when the universe aligns just so, it returns to you in ways you never imagined possible, completing a circle you didn't even know you had started. One glass of milk, one moment of compassion when it would have been easier to close the door. Two lives forever changed, connected across time by a single act of kindness. This is the true power of compassion. It doesn't just help someone in the moment and then disappear. It plants seeds deep in the soil of someone's soul, seeds that grow in unexpected ways, sometimes taking years or even decades to bloom into something beautiful. When you choose kindness, you're not just helping someone else in their time of need. You're creating a ripple that spreads outward, touching lives you'll never know about. And sometimes that ripple returns to you when you need it most. Every act of kindness, no matter how small it seems, is an investment in a better world. And the returns on that investment, they're beyond measure.